What is up, everybody? Welcome to the 21 Rooms Adventure Grand Finals. I'm your host, Delthius, and this is going to be a good one, man. Let me see if I can pull up the brackets real quick. Bang. Oh. Wait, hang on. There we go. Okay. So, we had our three raiders that survived the pyramid in Airlo, Lego Man, and this guy, and the reigning champion, aka King James. So we're going to start things off. For those of you maybe not familiar with the style of this event, it was really cool. It was kind of a board game centric creation by the gentleman, where players we kind of divided people up into groups of raiders and defenders of the pyramid, or guardians rather. And the players kind of had to move through the pyramid, make different choices, battle each other, solve puzzles, kind of like a board game pretty much, except for instead of like rolling dice to see who wins the engagement, we play games of Tooth and Tail. And it's gotten to the point now where we've got a few guys who made it all the way through the pyramid, and we're going to battle it out to see who is Season 4's reigning champion. And we're starting things off today with Lego Man versus this guy. This guy, one of the undisputed top Tooth and Tail players. Lego Man has always been my my bet. I've always believed in the dude, so I'm excited to see how he holds this up. Okay, hang on, I might be able to fix that, gentlemen. Let me try to do this. Because I don't think on Steam I can adjust my microphone volume. At least I don't know how to. Ooh, wait a second. Join a match. Nobody saw that password. Okay, so that should have fixed the volume for the Steam broadcast. And then I think I leveled it out for Twitch as well. So yeah, I'm excited. Definitely have a bunch of really good games today. This is going to be kind of super back and forth. We got a best of 5, and then another best of 5, and then a best of 7. So lots of rapid fire Tooth and Tail games. Okay, just a little bit lower. I appreciate it, gentlemen. Let's get that. Let's get these levels right where they need to be. Let's try. Oh, let's try that. Yeah, if you're tuning in on Twitch, we're also live on the Steam storefront. Oh wait, I did the wrong thing again. So trying to level out the audio for the Steam broadcast here. Okay, and then I can go ahead and turn up just a little bit on Twitch, so that sounds right as well. So yeah, looking forward to it. I think we're about ready. Yeah, Lego Man's been a bit of an underdog, but I believe. I think he's looking strong. So we'll have to see how this plays out today. I'm ready to roll once the players are. I hope I'm ready to roll. I feel ready. So this is gonna be good. All right, here we go. We are underway. Let's see what kind of deck compositions. No surprise here from this guy. The Owl's kind of neat. I like these tier 3 picks here, but I don't think anyone's surprised to see this guy rocking that skunk-centered style. And here we go. Match number 1 here of the finals. Over on the right, we've got Lego Man. And his opponent to the top left, this guy. Okay. Pretty big map, but kind of short spawn distances, right? Like, these guys aren't very far away compared to Imagine if a Gristmill spawned down here. We do have randomized maps in Tooth and Tail, which is really cool. It adds a lot of replayability, in my opinion. Sometimes the RNG, you know, you might feel like it's unfair, but 9 times out of 10 it really isn't. You know, especially situations like this, you might look at this and say, well, you know, Lego Man's got access to another gristmill, but most games don't go long enough for that to really matter. And then it also kind of dictates the play styles of each player. So in this case, if I'm this guy, once he actually gets that full map scout, you know, this guy might be thinking to himself, well, I don't want to be too passive and take this into the ultra late game, because then Lego Man would have that economic advantage. So you kind of have to think on your feet a lot in Tooth and Tail, and in these early phases, the players are just kind of trying to scout the map, but more importantly than scouting the map is scouting what your opponent is up to, which build they're going for. Right off the gate, and both players here electing for an 8-farm Tier 1 opener. Lego Man getting the scout on that gristmill is pretty nice. Lets him know, or at least think, that this guy wants to go for a bit more of a macro game. Gonna go ahead and match that with a very similar build order here. Even selling off that Tier 1, I wonder if he's gonna opt for a quick Tier 2 or just wants to free up some money. Ooh! A little bit of mind games here from Lego Man. Yeah, sells off that gristmill, so this guy's gonna come back. Oh, he didn't actually scout yet. He needs to go back in and scout because he probably thinks Lego Man is just trying to macro up. And yeah, now he sees that a bit of a switcheroo has happened, and this guy knows exactly what's going on. And Lego Man's in a bit of a spot now where, he doesn't necessarily have to destroy his opponent, but he needs to get some damage in. Because this guy's going for more of an economic opener, so if Lego Man doesn't get anything done, then this guy would have advantage. So, but, you know, Lego Man's putting together a pretty strong army. I'm curious if he's going to wait for the second skunk or go ahead and move out right now, because timing is very, very important here. Yeah, he's going to go ahead and move out now, and that second skunk will be reinforcing here shortly. Alright, and let's see, Lego Man gonna try to take advantage of this high ground. Get a little bit of poking in with the skunk. The skunk kind of this tankier unit that can deal a lot of AoE damage. And here comes a big engagement, but this guy kind of sniffed this out. Ooh, gets that skunk kill. That's absolutely huge. Monumental defense here from this guy. He got the read on what Lego Man was going for very early on. He kind of saw that tech switch very, very quickly. And this is huge for this guy. You know, killing that skunk is absolutely enormous. And on the back of this, you know, this guy's got a second base up and running. He's going to go ahead and put a third and a fourth farm down. So his economy is very far ahead. And on top of that, he won that engagement. So Lego Man is in a real rough spot. His commander went down, but he gets back up in time to micro his units away. Lego Man needs a really good fight right here to stay in this game. It looks good so far, as the skunks are getting a lot of work done. Target fire destroys one of those skunks, but I think Lego Man's going to hold. The question is, did he hold well enough? You know, this heavy squirrel style is working out pretty nicely thus far for this guy. But the big story here is the second base. Like, this guy's basically capable of, you know, taking disadvantaged trades because his economy is just so much stronger at this point. So this guy can just kind of move in and mass, you know what I mean? Like, even if he loses 12 squirrels, but he kills 8 squirrels of his opponents, that actually might work out for him with this economic differential here. But this engagement's not going as well for him. The skunk ass getting a lot of work done. However, Lego Man's almost out of squirrels to tank the front lines for these skunks. But no, that's exactly what Lego Man needed to get back into this fight. I'm still a little bit worried about the economies, though. You know, Lego Man is getting that second base up and running. But it is a slow process here. As this guy pushes back this attack. Another skunk going down. Ooh, I don't know. This might be the nail in the coffin here. Let's see. This guy moving forward really wants to kill that skunk. It gets down to 1 HP and staying alive for now. That's really good for Lego Man, but it is going to go down eventually. And this attack just might be a little too much. Another skunk hits the board. But again, the real story here is the economic advantage. You know, this guy did such a good job of getting out a farm or two every now and then between these engagements, and that's one of the really difficult things with Tooth and Tail. You can kind of, it's kind of hard to find that right moment where you're safe enough, you know what I mean, to invest 120 bucks or whatever it is into a couple farms and still maintain an army. And this guy with this heavy tier 1 style, it's just been a really scrappy game, and I kind of anticipated that because our spawns are so close to one another. And I think if this was a normal game, Legoman might have tapped at this point, but I mean, it is the final day. This isn't the final match. You know, this isn't the grand finals match here, but obviously both players really wanting to advance up. We've got a little bit of prize pool money on the line, and also, of course, bragging rights until the next season. And this guy's going to take match number 1. Off the back of some good defense and some well-timed additional income. So the question is, do these players you know, change up their deck compositions? Do they stick with what they have? I think in theory what Legoman was trying to do was kind of smart in the early game, but it's hard to pull off that kind of thing against players, you know, of the top caliber like this guy. You know, they're very on top of their scouting in that early game, and when you get busted like that, you know, they can pivot very, very quickly. So maybe a little bit of disrespect's probably a strong word, but you catch my drift. You know, Legoman tried to take a fast one on his opponent, and this guy was just very on top of his scouting, knew how to pivot, knew how to defend, and the follow-up punch was just too much. On the left, one game down, we've got Legoman, and his opponent to the right, this guy. Okay, looks like same compositions here. A little bit of a bigger map, which is nice. This may lead to a longer game. Let's take a look at the gristmill splits here. This guy's got access to a decent natural. I'm a little bit worried about this expansion because the high ground right around it. So this guy will basically have to take this base and then start really reinforcing this high ground position, because if Legoman comes up in here, you know, that's a very good angle to attack into. Furthermore, this guy has a nice third base down here in the south. A little bit of area to get around to it, I suppose. A couple different attack paths there. And if I'm Legoman, I'm very happy with this spawn. You know, I've got basically a pocket base here. I've got a nice expansion. I can even take this base and start contesting some of this area. You know, I feel like this area of the map is going to be pretty big this game. You know, whoever can kind of claim territory here is going to have a huge impact because of that high ground, because of the multiple sources of income there. Nothing crazy this match yet. Both players just going for that 8-farm double opening. Legoman even grabbing that additional tier 1 Warren. And we kind of need to see, there's a few decisions. Looks like, yeah, tier 2 on the way from this guy. So this guy might be concocting his kind of patented, you know, skunk aggression here. You know, I wouldn't go as far as to say this build is this guy's creation, but he's definitely the best at piloting it. I think that goes pretty uncontested. And meanwhile, Legoman is opting for those snakes and a tier 1 and a gristmill. I'm sorry. So I think the idea here is, you know, get some poison stacks on those skunks and try to be in the position that this guy was in last match, right, where Legoman can kind of take the fight, not take too many punches, and sneak out a farm or two in between engagements and try to get ahead that way. This guy's not waiting around. The skunk's not quite out, but it will be out by the time these units get here. So this snake control is going to be paramount here for Legoman to hold this off, and this guy may be thinking twice, heading home. You know, what's fun about Tooth and Tail is things are very knife edge. You know, matches tend to be short and fast and action packed. So this guy's aware, hey, if I take a bad advantage here, if I take a bad fight here, I could very well lose the game. He still hasn't scouted that expansion from Legoman though, and Legoman's now going to go over there and start saturating that up. So I'm liking Lego Man's spot a lot more this game than I did last. But again, it's going to come down to this big engagement. Lego Man trying to get out on the map and do a little bit of harassment with these snakes. Going to tag a few squirrels, get some free kills. That's always good. But the big fight's coming in, and that Tier 2 Warren sitting right here exposed on the front. Lego Man going to get the snake stacks on Skunk number 1 and Skunk number 2, but both his snakes go down, and does the Skunk go down? It does! But this guy has so many squirrels left over, and he's actually retreating. I think he can push through. That Tier 2 Warren went down as well. Big blow there for Lego Man. And yeah, this might be too many reinforcing Tier 1 units here from this guy. All the infrastructure is starting to go down. It looks like he's probably dealt critical damage, but Lego Man does have the snakes. And he does have a second base. So it's not impossible for him to try to come back here, but he needs to get some really good snake micro going. And this guy, very smartly, is just going to follow up attack with a lot of Tier 1. He's not trying to expand. You know, he's not trying to mess around, get more Tier 2 units out. He is just building up an enormous army of squirrels here. A couple moles to help add some diversity to the units. And he's going to move out. That's a big army here. These snakes got to put the team on their back here. Let's see if they can do it. A couple tags go down, but he can't lose these snakes. One of them is going to go down at the start of the battle. These snakes kind of specialize in killing important units, not dealing with masses of grunts, as we see in this situation. This guy's commander did go down, which means his army can't be microed until he gets back. But man, just the overwhelming numbers here from this guy. And a second base to boot. Oof. Critical damage has been dealt here by this guy. Let's see if Lego Man can think of something. He needs to figure out some way to get back into this game, but man, if I'm in Lego Man's shoes and I just saw that second base, because at the 5-minute mark, your first 4 farms go fallow or mine out, and your economy starts getting weak. So I think Lego Man's kind of saving grace in this game would have been scouting over here and seeing this guy still on a 1-base economy, but he sees that second base from this guy. He knows the food is flowing, and he's going to go ahead and tap out. I don't blame him. Alright, this is a best-of-5 match here, so Lego Man's got one more chance. Or he is out. Still in the top 4, though. I mean, even if you're Lego Man and you get knocked out here, you're probably still pretty happy. You know, I feel like he performed very well. But, I believe. Excuse me, guys. I believe in the Lego. I'd love to see him come back and bring this to match number 5. He's kind of scratching his head a little bit, trying to think if he wants to change up his deck composition here. This guy has got the deck that he wants. It's working for him. He's not going to change it. Alright. Lego Man thinking. Maybe he's thinking about the toads here. Trying to decide what he wants that 5th pick to be. Looks like he's dropping the snakes. Yeah, let's see if Lego Man can bring it back. That'd be the dream. That's more tooth and tail, you know? I'd love to see this go to match 5. Taking a little bit of time. No problem. This is an important decision here. What he's going to bring to the table. Other than that, thanks for tuning in, everybody. 21 Rooms Adventure has been a lot of fun. I'm really excited to see how this goes for the finals here today. And if you're on Steam, welcome. Definitely check out Tooth and Tail. It's a lot of fun. The campaign is great, and the multiplayer is even better. Alright. Lego Man deciding. Going for that barbed wire. A little bit of an off-meta pick. But it could work out if this guy is really dedicated to a lot of Tier 1. I'd maybe rather see mines or something like that. Yeah, he decides to go against it. And no, alright. Going for the wire. The wire can work. Let's see. Lego Man. This is a big, he's taking his time, but at the same time, this is a big decision. He absolutely needs to win this map to stay in the tournament. And the Lego, let's go. There it is. Okay. Spawning in the bottom, just needing one more match here to advance. We've got this guy. And up in the top, trying to concoct his comeback, we've got Lego Man. Down 0-2 in the best of 5. Kind of wonky map here. It's gonna be, well, I guess if I'm this guy attacking Lego Man, I'm probably gonna move out like this. And you can generally try to, like, avoid some of this weird water area. The water does slow down your units, but also heals them. And Gristmill split is kind of weird. Like, this is going to be a short game almost no matter what. Like, both players have nice access to basically a pocket natural base here. And then there's, like, a third Gristmill kind of out and about. This base is going to be difficult for either player to take. And meanwhile, this one's kind of up in the air, but it's going to be hard to defend. So either of those third bases are not ideal. One's kind of like right in the middle of the attack path, and the other one's quite a bit away. But nobody's got those swift units like the Fox or the Lizard to really take advantage of running all over the map. Very, very quick expansion here from this guy. Even before the first Warren, Lego Man's going to see that scout, though. Let's see if he follows suit. Yeah. I feel like that's probably the smart play against really strong players. You might try to find that timing window where you can get in and punish them for going for that quick eco, but it's just very hard to do against players that really have it mapped out and just can, like, barely hold on, like we saw in match number 1. And then just have an advantage, because it's like, hey, your timing attack didn't work, and now I've got an extra 2 or 3 farms on you. So I think this is smart from Lego Man, and we might find ourselves in, like, this farm chicken kind of mode, where both players are constantly scouting how many farms are actually going up on that second base and trying to stay one step ahead. So if I scout my opponent's got 3 farms, typically that means I want to try to put down 4. You don't want to fall behind, right? And your opponent just gets ahead economically, but on the flip side, you don't want to just get too greedy and then just get ran over by your opponent who's got a better army. So a little bit of a balance there. Lego Man throwing down a bit of barbed wire to try to signal to this guy to not attack, and this guy's like, fine, if that's what the play is, then I'm just going to go ahead and throw down my tier 3 Warren, which gets scouted by Lego Man. Very nice. And how does he want to respond to that? I think Falcons is probably a good idea. Maybe getting up his own tier 3 in the form of that wolf. Yeah, going very deep here on farms is Lego Man. He's almost got up to that 8 farm economy on his second base, and to be honest, I'm liking this opening here for Lego Man. He's got the Falcons on the way, which are going to do nice against the Owl. He's got some barbed wire to help push away some of those mice. He's got the wolf. He's got a better economy going. This guy's invested quite a lot into Tier 1 to basically stay safe, right? You know, I think this guy was thinking, hey, I'm getting a second base, I'm getting pretty quick Tier 3, so let me go ahead and stay safe with all these Tier 1, but... Lego Man, on the other hand, was... Actually, he looks like he sold his Falcons in lieu of Skunks, which are actually still pretty good against the Owls. They help deal with that mice. In addition to helping with the Squirrels, I think that's the reason he went for that switch. Keep in mind, if you're watching on Steam or maybe a new player, you can sell things for 100% refund in Tooth and Tail, which is pretty cool. It allows for some neat tech switches and mind games and that sort of thing. Okay, the Owl is in the air, the Wolf is almost here. Now the Falcons are going down here for Lego Man. Might be a bit late, but I don't feel like this guy's going to be moving out anytime soon. You know, maybe he comes in and tries to harass with these mice, get a little bit of value. But we're going to get some big fat armies here. Some chonky boys, which we haven't seen in the previous matches. Both players kind of got that handshake gentleman agreement of, you know, hey, let's both power up, and this is the big move. This guy is trying to claim this third base here. Lego Man absolutely cannot let that happen. Right now, everything's still pretty even. The only differences really are the army compositions, but yeah, Lego Man's gotta contest this. He can't just let this guy get this easy third base, because if he does, his economy's gonna get out of control. And I'm curious how Lego Man wants to play this out. Is he just gonna YOLO up there and try to make a big fight? You know, he's got a pretty awesome army put together. This guy's commander goes down. This is the perfect opportunity to start getting in and get something done, as this guy's army is not microed. A big loss there. 180 food just in that Gristle going down, and so many units are dying here from this guy. This is exactly what Lego Man needed to get back into this best of 5. Is he gonna go for the throat? It looks like his army is a lot bigger. Needs to make sure to target down these Falcons correctly. That Wolf buff really helping increase the DPS of Lego Man's units here. And yeah, very cool. Join the hype train, boys, because Lego Man is coming back in this series. Man, that was crazy. All on the back of this guy just scouting a little bit too deep and losing his commander. Now we've got a series on our hands. I apologize for the Steam viewers. I do have like a microphone mute to cough. I'm a little scroggy today, but I don't see how to do that on Steam. Anyways, on the left, we've got this guy. And his opponent on the right, Lego Man 96. Okay. Same comps here. Players kind of like what they've got. We saw Lego Man change it up a little bit from the first couple matches. This is another big map, though. This kind of leans itself towards a macro game. I kind of like this split better for Lego Man. Let me see. Like, if you just split it, like, kind of down the middle here, right? You've got 3 extra gristmills, 2 campfires for Lego Man, 4 gristmills for this guy. So technically, this guy has a little bit more of the fruit on this map, but I don't know, maybe I'm wrong, but I like this high ground position here for Lego Man. Like, it's not going to be easy to attack in over through this little swamp. You know, coming in from this angle might be straightforward, but I feel like it's going to be easier for Lego Man to secure these bases than it is for this guy to come all the way out here and start taking this territory, if that makes sense. In addition, this guy's second base down here on the low ground right next to the high ground really makes it vulnerable to some kind of aggression here from Lego Man. So let's see. Overall, I think the map is fairly balanced. Both players have mirror openings here. Gonna rush up a bit into those tier 2 skunky units. I like this campfire for Lego Man though. That extra on one base, like a campfire can make an enormous difference. And I wouldn't hate to see, it's a little bit risky, especially against a veteran like this guy. But I wouldn't hate to see Lego Man get aggressive here on the back of that campfire, because I believe a campfire is like a 12% increase in economy over your opponent. So if we get into a slap fight, right, trading units constantly, then that extra little bit of economy can really make a difference. But this guy is actually being the aggressor here. A little bit of barbed wire coming up, but I don't think it's in quite the right position to really make a difference. I think Lego Man needs that barbed wire a little bit more on the edge of his territory. But this guy's going to change his mind and go home. Yeah, I'm sorry, guys. I think it's that time of year, getting a little bit of that flu bug. Yeah, this guy just takes it home and goes ahead and grabs the second base. Meanwhile, Lego Man, ooh, did he get the scout? Okay, hang on, I was curious if he was going to sell that. Did he actually scout that? Yes, he did. So this guy's aware that Lego Man wants to rush up to that tier 3 unit, the Wolf, who increases the attack speed and the movement speed of up to 8 nearby units. And this guy knows it's coming. So I'm interested to see how he responds. He really just wants to get a very robust army put together. Yeah, he's going to be very aggressive. And the Wolf gets sold here for Lego Man. But again, I don't think this barbed wire is in exactly the right spot where he needs it to be. And this army is looking strong from this guy. Maybe going to start off a little bit of skunk harassment back and forth. Ooh, that skunk barely lives. Nice for Lego Man. Nice positioning coming into this fight for our Archimedes player. Gets that cabin. Continuing to press forth, and yeah, this is just the slaughter. These Falcons really making a big difference here for this guy. And he's going to very smartly pull away with a lot of his important units. Both those Falcons still alive, one skunk still alive. Ooh, Lego Man going to try to grab some of these reinforcing units. This army split up a little bit. But I don't know, that was a really good engagement there for this guy. He took his time, he hit the right angles. And he's going to come back for round number 2. Ooh, that Falcon goes down right at the beginning. This guy's been very on top of his Falcon control, keeping those very important high DPS units alive. One of them goes down, no more skunks here, but just such a large number of tier 1 still left over here from this guy. Looks like that's probably gonna be it. Let's see if Lego Man can hold that barbed wire trying to help. This guy pulls back, but just to reinforce. I mean, this Falcon is still in the air. But Lego Man's taking a lot of damage here. Ooh, that tier 2 warrant going down as well. These moles doing a great job dealing that bonus damage to structures. Lego Man trying to sell his tier 2 to just get anything he possibly can. And that is going to be it. This guy takes the match, is going to continue on to the next round. Good fight by Lego Man there for sure. Okay, so let's take a look at our brackets. Let's see who's coming up next. We've got Arrowloo versus this guy in another best of 5, and whoever wins that is gonna go up against James. King James. Alright. So I guess I can go ahead and get my scoreboard put together here. Arrowloo. Oh, Mr. Gentleman should be in the background wrangling up Airlu for this next match. Airlu is here, ready to roll. Good luck to both these players. This is kind of a semifinals match, because whoever wins this is going to go up against Mr. James Bowring for the finals. What's up, everybody in chat? Thanks again for tuning in. As always, the scene would be nothing without all you lovely participants. I gotta get back into streaming more Tooth and Tail. I miss it. Maybe do some replays or just some laddering or something. That would be a lot of fun. I've been super busy lately, but I do wanna get back into making more content. Let me think. This guy actually did get a tournament win. Who can refresh my memory? Was it the random 2v2 event? I don't think Airlu's got a title, but I believe this guy does. I want to say this guy won the 2v2 event, but I could be wrong. Let me see. Let me see if I can dig that up. I know this guy's won something, but I don't think it's like a straight up 1v1 tournament. Yeah, Airlu hasn't won anything yet. I do know that, but I feel like this guy does have a title. Season 3 champion. No, I think Season 3 champion was Arbuz and Chip. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay. Of course it was Arbuz and Chip. What am I thinking? A 2v2 tournament. Those guys basically win all of them. Okay, that's gonna bug me. I'll have to ask this guy. Maybe you won like one of the custom map tournaments or something like that. Anyways, irrelevant to the match we have here. In the bottom, rocking that same deck, we've got this guy. Ooh, and his opponent up top changing things up. Playing the common folk, we've got Airlu. I like the toads, I like the chameleons. Let's see how this plays out here for Airlu. I'm curious if the chameleons and toads were kind of a direct response to what this guy's doing, or if this is like the go-to deck for Airlu. Yeah, he's won lots of Pocket Cups, it's true. That is true. But you know what I mean? Like, if I'm Airlu, and I was watching the previous rounds, I'm thinking to myself, okay, this guy likes to use his skunks, he likes to use heavy amounts of squirrels, so it kind of makes sense to get in there with the toads. Both players just kind of scouting about right now. This is kind of a weird map, to be honest. It's going to be a little bit difficult for Airlu to expand. Like, imagine this guy takes this base here, right? And then Airlu takes this one. You know, these two bases are within spitting distance of each other. And if I'm Airlu, I'm probably thinking about trying to be... This is almost like who's gonna, like a quick draw situation. Like, who is going to start securing these gristmills in this kind of Trinity area first. But so far, the players are just rocking that 8-farm double. You know, pretty standard stuff. They can kind of take the game in any direction from here. Man, this is a weird map, isn't it? Like, the battleground is, like, right here in the center of all the bases. I mean, do you even try to go for 2 bases here? You know, maybe I'm wrong on that point. Maybe you just go for a 1 base all in. because trying to secure a second base for either player, in my opinion, is going to be hard. And right now, that's what it looks like from our two competitors here. Fairly mirror builds. Arlo floating a bit of cash, but going to come home after that scout and spin that probably on more tier 1. Ooh, I think they want to put down a tier 2. Yeah, they do. That is risky. But if you can back it up with a bunch of squirrels, Airlu is putting together an awesome composition. However, I feel like this guy is going for his patented skunk pressure push, and I don't think Airlu's going to have time to get those falcons out. You know, oh, if this guy goes back right now, this is actually really big for Airlu. Yeah, that's huge. Because all Airlo needs is just a little bit more time. Get these falcons in the air, reinforce with a couple more tier 1, and they should be in good shape. You know, not necessarily to win the fight, but to be able to go toe-to-toe. I think this guy should have at least tested the waters with that first move out, but obviously he knows better than I. And is going to start pressuring in with these skunks. Picks up a squirrel there, I believe. This is a decent army if we can get some good connections here. Ooh, the toads mainly go down on the skunks, but it kind of works. The skunks go down. The chameleons are still alive. The chameleons will fall. But we've got the falcons in the air here for Airlu. I think that worked out well. Man, that was smart. Like, this is what I love about Tooth and Tail. Like, this composition that Airlu put together is just so well designed to deal with what this guy's bringing to the table. And this is the problem that you can have when you play one deck over and over, is eventually your opponent can say, I know what you're doing. I'm going to pick up these units. They might not be the best units in the world in a vacuum, but they are exactly what I need for this situation. Airlu gonna try to take one of these very dangerous expansions. Gonna come in again. The toads actually don't blow up. Oh my god. Airlu was being smart there, trying to make sure they didn't detonate on those moles, but the moles actually just got the killing blow on the toads. And unlike Banelings in StarCraft 2, if you kill these toads, they don't just explode anyways. That was a very good attack here from this guy. It's looking well for him. Pushing in. What kind of tier 2 we got left for Airlo? Just a couple falcons in the air. And this might be enough, the straw that broke the camel's back here. And this guy had his army positioned like really well too in that engagement. I feel like it was pretty spread out against those toads. I think he probably got blindsided a little bit in the first engagement by the toads. Seems like we have a little bit of lag in this game, but hopefully it's not unplayable for the players. It looks okay to me. Things are just a bit slow. Yeah, the split there from this guy was very good. Like, the moles on the front in position to take those toad hits. Here we go again, another big engagement coming out, but the toads don't quite get the connections they need. And this guy pushing forward, probably going to be the killing blow. Airlu knows it, taps out, and we're heading to match number 2 here. Snap picks from both players. And in the bottom left, we've got Airlu deciding to go with some mines this time. And their opponent to the right, this guy, with that same patented deck. It's kind of neat. Like, I don't think we see it super often where players are just straight up bringing the exact same deck to the table, but you know, when you're piloting it this well, I feel like this guy, his his thesis here is, yeah, I don't care if you know what I'm gonna use. I use it so well, I'm so well practiced with it. I mean, his micro last game you know, the splits against the toads, making sure the toads either A, don't detonate at all, or B, don't detonate on those juicy units, you know, is great. So it's neat. It's an interesting, like, kind of confidence pick here from this guy, saying, I know what I do it well, and I don't think even if you can counter me, like, I don't think it's going to be effective. But let's see how it plays out. The mines are kind of cool here. Want to be careful on making too many of them early on, however. And unfortunately for Erlu, yeah, that mine does get scouted by this guy. I always like to say the most potent mines are often some of the first ones to go off when you're not expecting your opponent to have mines. So now this guy is aware of the possibility of mines and has placed his warrants extremely aggressively. Now, that might not signal one base push. It certainly could, but I actually don't mind this at all from this guy because this is a wonderful spawn for him. You know, in these positions, he basically is just saying, I'm going to go ahead and start securing this high ground. I'm going to commit to it by placing my warrants here, which will help me reinforce or defend this position. And eventually I'm going to, you know, expand into these two bases right here. Meanwhile, Erlu does have a second and third available to them as well. A little bit more spread, though. And overall, this map, I feel like, is nice for this guy. You know, this high ground right here that he can retreat back into after attacking. Or vice versa, Erlu being forced to go up to this high ground in order to attack. It's going to be difficult. Okay. Erlu deciding to go up to 2 base. I wonder how much they're going to commit to it. And this guy is going to go ahead and push out. Knows about the mine that's sitting right there under his feet. Going to clear that with a mole. Ooh, and he's getting aggressive. Taking this gristmill to tank some damage in this engagement is the idea. Oh, but one of the skunks gets caught out of position. That gristmill goes down pretty quickly. However, that chameleon does fall as well, so this is still looking pretty good for this guy. I got hyped for a minute when that skunk went down so fast. I was like, maybe Erlu's gonna do great here. But the damage is coming in. This chameleon needs to stay alive. It does. Nice control there from Erlu. But, you know, this guy won that engagement pretty hard and also got a farm out of it, and that's one of those rough farms too. Like, I hate when I lose a farm like that because it's almost not worth, like, rebuilding it, you know? Alright, this guy moving forward again. Gonna clear this mole mine situation going on. Still 1 base here for this guy. He's got about 1 more minute before that economy starts taking a dive. And that, you know, 7 farms, 8 farms is a pretty big difference. This guy just gonna poke back for now, go ahead and expand. Erlu does have this expansion up, but hasn't been able to commit to any farms yet. Just really wants to make sure that they don't die to this guy's continued aggression. This guy does scout the second. Sees he's in good shape, sees there's nothing crazy like, well, I did some damage, but there's a half-saturated second base over there or anything like that. Alright, this guy pushing forward again. This is an interesting choke point here, which is going to favor the skunks and even the toads. Erlu is still in this game. They just need a really good engagement. It is going to go on the back of that mine going off. One of the skunks immediately goes down. The other one goes down as well. Is Erlu going to push the issue? Looks like they will, but going to back out. That was phenomenal. That's exactly what Erlu needed to stay in this. Keeping those chameleons alive. Very, very good moves there. So I feel like that kind of evens it back up, right? We're a bit stabilized. Like, this guy won that first engagement fairly well. Erlu just won that engagement fairly well. And how are we going to take it from here? I mean, I think it's smart to saturate up. Airlu probably had a window where they could have continued in with some more aggression. But again, that's always risky, you know. However, if both players are sitting around, this is looking better for this guy at the moment, as he did quickly rush up to that 8-farm economy. You know, Airlu needs to match suit. I think it's been a while since Airlu's scouted, to be honest. So they're not quite aware of the farm situation. Pokes their head in now and sees indeed this guy has gone up to that full second base saturation. And the owl is on the way. Now this owl is going to make these toads very, very inefficient. If these toads end up, you know, detonating on mice, you're trading free units for units that cost money. And that is never good. At least for the player without the free units. But this could be a good timing, you know. I don't think Airlu's aware of that tier 3. But if you strike in, like right after the owl's been bought and paid for, 360 food invested into that owl, that's a nice window where you've got a bigger army and you can make something happen. But attacking into this high ground is going to be rough. Really going into the late game is going to be a bit more difficult here for Airlu without any of those big, heavy tier 3 units. Oh, here's the scout that they need. Looks like they're going to come in and see the Owl Warren. This would be a decent time to strike. Now, Airlu can scale into the late game with those Falcons. But this guy could put together a stronger ultra late game army. That Owl, Skunk, Falcon composition is very, very strong. Yeah, this is hard to do, but I think it is the right play to try to strike in here. Need to get some really good toad connections. And the toads connect fairly well. Yeah, gonna retreat, and retreating's always really hard in Tooth and Tail. Gonna lose a lot of units on the way back. Just so many squirrels here from this guy, it's insane. I mean, I think it was worth a shot, man. Look at that army value graph just skyrocketing back up from this guy. But now Airlu's in a rough position. So many squirrels here from this guy, almost hitting 30. You know, build one more Warren for us. Come on, man. We gotta see 30 squirrels. Let's go. All right, can these toads get the juicy hits? No, they connect in with those mice I was talking about earlier. And this is just gonna be a slaughter. Airlu putting up a good show, taking some good engagements. But overall, this guy winning the map. All right, this guy's slaughtering through. I believe just dropping one map so far. Let's see if Airlu can turn it around. And if not, again, there's no shame. Like, this guy is so good. Everyone knows it. In the bottom, we've got this guy. And his opponent to the left really need to pick up a win here. We've got Airlu. Same deck comps. I wonder how this guy plays out with a nearby cabin. I don't think we've seen him have that campfire option before. You know, I wonder if that kind of plays into, you know, that one base skunk push he likes to do, you know, reinforced with that campfire. We'll see, you know. Maybe he doesn't really factor it into the build. This map's kind of weird. This guy does have a natural, but the ramps around it are kind of wonky. You know, but this is nice and tight, which is always good. Expanding and taking the rest of the map is a little bit weird. Same for Airlu. Like, I like this natural for Airlu here. It's fine. Also has access to a cabin. So both players with pretty decent access to, like, a gristmill plus cabin in the early game. And then after that, you know, actually, you could split this map and say it's pretty even, to be honest. Because, you know, Airlu's got the 3rd and 4th here. This guy's got the 3rd and 4th there. It's a little weird, right? Like, it's not how you would think to split. or kind of envision, you know, where your third and fourth bases would be, but overall we got a balanced map here. I don't think this map is super advantageous for one player or the other, which is nice. And let's see what the plans are. You know, I feel like the problem when you're playing against someone like this guy is it's really hard to have, like, your own plan. You know, I feel like a lot of these matches we've seen players kind of trying to react to what this guy is doing, but that kind of gives this guy the tempo. You know what I mean? Like, this guy can say, I'm going to push in, make my opponent kind of flail and try to get together a quick defense, or he can say, I'm going to macro up and take it to late game. But regardless, it feels like to me that the decision on the pace of the game has always been in this guy's hand. And I wonder if the way to truly dismantle him would be to take that pacing, to take that tempo for yourself and say, I'm going to do a very sharp timing attack, or I've got a late game RB composition that I want to put together that I think can beat yours. You know, it's rough. It's rough to do in RTS in particular. It's very, very easy to kind of get stuck on the back foot. But so far, like, I feel like Airlu's doing a good job of having their own game plan here. You know, getting that quick second base up. But this is very greedy at the same time. Like, the quick second base, the double tier 2, like, if you're gonna get a quick second base, you're probably building a whole lot of tier 1, and this guy exploiting the map every which way you can. That was beautiful. Oh, man. What a play. That's just 2 farms down for free. Luckily, Airlu does have this second base that they've already been working on, but ooh, that was so risky, too. Because this guy could have totally just got stuck there with his entire army. You know, Airlu's definitely taking some damage. But they're not totally out of this yet. One good fight, one good engagement, a couple right toe connections. And we could see this flipping back into their direction. Again, very smart play here from this guy. Gonna try to attack in at the right angle. Not gonna wade through this water. Hopefully not gonna run into mines either. Yeah, scouting, doing a quick mine sweep there with the moles. And pushes forward now into a big engagement. Let's see how this goes. Lots of his units are clumped together, but the Toads just quite didn't make the big difference there. This guy pushing forward. The army of Airlu has been deleted. The second base is falling. With that, I believe also Airlu's tournament hopes this match. Because it looks like this guy is taking us to the grand finals here. Ooh, we've got... I'm excited for this guy versus James. Because last I've seen James play, very aggressive style. Lots of lizards, lots of maybe not so meta units. You know, I'm curious how he's going to approach this matchup. I'm sure James has probably been watching this, seeing how this guy's been playing. Absolutely nothing wrong with that. But that's going to be it. Nice showing here from Airlu. But this guy advancing to the grand finals. So next up we have James versus this guy in a best of 7. Give me a very, very quick restroom break, guys, like 1 or 2 minutes, and we will be back with the grand finals. So stay tuned and see you shortly. Alright, it looks like I am back literally right in time. Okay. No, they're good. They're good. They can launch. This is a best of 7. This is it. This is the grand finals here. So far, this guy has played 2 best of 5s and dropped 1 single map. Which is crazy. If you're joining us on Steam, welcome. We are at the grand finals of the 21 Rooms Adventure Tournament here. King James, the reigning champion from last season, up against this guy. We know this guy's in good shape. The question is James in good shape here? Great performance out at Lego Man and Airloo. Brought us some very entertaining matches here. Yeah, James, as gentlemen saying in the chat, James' style. That's what I'm curious about. Has James been playing? Has he been preparing for this? Or has he been snoozing on his throne since season 3? I mean, James has plenty, and that's another thing too, is like, James has so much information on this guy. Like, you know what would blow my mind is if this guy just totally changed up his deck here, but I don't think he will. I think, and I don't think he should. He's got the style, like, down. You know, this guy is making a very bold statement here, like, hey, I've got an awesome deck. I don't think it matters if you know what I'm doing. I think my strategy is that strong. And it's up to James to try to dismantle this. Little bit of lag coming into it, but hopefully it clears up. Yeah, I think we're all right. In the bottom, railing his way to the grand finals, we've got this guy. And his opponent up top, the reigning champion from last season, King James. Who is throwing a couple curveballs here. He's got toads. He's got the boar. I think the toads and the boar are a little more crazy than the chameleons. I think the chameleons are kind of, you know, they're fine. I think the boar is pretty strong too. Like, I'm not exactly sure why we haven't seen a ton of boar lately. Let's see how this plays out. This is a pretty crazy map. Double high ground mill in the center. I like this for James, to be honest. You know, he's got access to a campfire if he wants to do some kind of crazy one base strategy. Try to, you know, beat his opponent down in this slugfest kind of thing where he's got just a little bit of a better economy. Alternatively, he could just take this base, you know, and now he's got 3 bases up here on the high ground, and he also splits and essentially grabs these bases as well as part of his territory. But this guy's got pretty easy access to base 2 and 3. You know, he's got a 4th base if he wants over here on the side. But this area right here where James's commander is at the moment, you know, I feel like this is a big, important real estate on this map. Whoever controls that area is probably going to control the tempo of the game. And James kind of gets a head start on that, you know. Wow, even putting the tier 2 Warren so far forward, you know, that's a signal from James, like, hey, I don't think you're ever going to get your army back to this spot. Which is a pretty bold move. And there's that gristmill from James. Yeah, the strategy is to take this double high ground. I don't blame him. I think it's smart. If he can get some warrens set up right here to tank some damage in the initiations, a couple mine placements. And so far, this guy has just been building up to that patented skunk push. But he's going to have to fight up double high ground. I would love to see some tier 1 warrens right here too, just to tank a little bit. So this guy also responding with a mill, but I'm not exactly sold that this is a eco mill from James. You know, I think maybe the intention with this mill is to just claim territory. Sure, he might throw down a farm or two. But let's see. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe he does want to just eco up into a mid-game here. Ooh, this could be bad. Okay, James is here. Nice chameleon trap. Try to be set up. This guy pushing forward. Does James have enough to stop this? I think this fight could go either direction. This guy already taking that double high ground positioning that he so much needed, but the Toads coming in from both sides, slaughtering those skunks there. Oh, and he keeps the chameleon alive. James is absolutely on top of it today. That was a beautiful fight for him. A nice push out from this guy. I think that was correct to try something, right? Because this guy is as aware as you and I how important this real estate is. And to just give that to James without putting up a fight, you know, seems pretty rough. So I think if I'm this guy in this in the position now, I probably want to hang back, kind of cross my fingers and hope that James doesn't want to take another fight anytime soon, get that second base rolling, and try to get the game to go on as far as possible. Because the differential, right, from that fight is going to matter less and less as the game goes on. So I think you kind of turtle up here as this guy. And, you know, as much as I've been talking about this double high ground, this guy does have his own double high ground here into the main. And his second base is basically impenetrable. It looks like James could sneak around this backside with some chameleons, which would be totally awesome to see. But that would take up so much micro to do that and put his commander, like, absurdly out of position. Like, the big thing in Tooth and Tail is positioning, you know? Because you can only micro your units with your commander, and the commander is what you're seeing. So maybe you're on Steam checking this out. You know, this is what this guy sees right now. You follow your commander around. So if you're out and about, you know, trying to do something sneaky, like attack through this back door, then that means your units up here, I mean, they're gonna, you know, do their thing. They're not gonna sit there defenseless, but an unmicroed army, 9 times out of 10, just gets slaughtered by an army that's being microed. But I feel like this guy is playing this smart from the back foot. James hasn't done anything crazy yet. He hasn't committed to a third base or a tier 3. Maybe that tier 3 warren's coming down right now. It is. And he waited until this guy was done with his scout about to put that down. So with the armies getting larger like this, you can almost start to deny scouts. So not anymore since his commander's down. Ooh, he's gonna try to come in. James is here in time though, and James wants to fight. He's moving in with all these chameleons on the front line. These Toads starting to make the connections with the skunks. And all that's left here for this guy are the Falcons in the air. However, he does trade fairly evenly there. Better than I thought. Look at that army graph. But man, that was... To me, what was impressive about that was James just not hesitating. Like, right when this guy started moving forward, you know, trying to maybe even feign aggression, James was like, let's go, bro. And just slammed into that army, took the trade, and took the trade well. You know, he won that fight on paper. But that's so critical in this game, too. Like, you really have to commit to decisions. Like, retreating is very, very bad for the most part, because you just lose so many units in the process. This guy trying to be cheeky again, and gonna pick off a couple units. Anything really makes a difference. That farm going down is actually a nice victory. Oh, and he's gonna get another one. This guy, Master of the Skies. Man, that was good. That's what he needed. You know, that kind of stabilizes things a bit. This is a close game. Like, I feel like James still has a bit of an edge, but especially after sniping those 2 farms and I think like a squirrel or 2 for free, really helps out this guy. And I guess this guy must have scouted that tier 3. No, he never did, but he just kind of happens to have the Falcons anyways, which are what you need to deal with this boar. Let's go! Lots of AoE damage here from James with the toads, with the boars. He's trying to just eliminate everything else on the ground. Only the falcons remain. Can James keep the boar alive? 1 HP? No, but this guy taps out anyways. And actually that boar did live, technically. Lived at 1 HP to tell a tale. Someone's going to give him a medal. And we've got someone fighting back against this guy here. James, up a match in the grand finals. Spawning in the bottom right, we've got this guy who actually changed it up a little bit. And his opponent to the top left, we've got James. This guy going for the Badger over the Owl here. So not like the craziest change up in the world. I actually think the overall shell of what this guy's running is like so strong. You could probably throw any tier 3 unit there and feel okay about it. I think in general, this guy must feel at the Wait, looks like James took Archimedes from this guy. That's kind of funny. But anyways, you can always tilt. Some players you can tilt by taking their favorite commander. I know, personally, I like to play Hopper, so if I go up against someone they took my Hopper, you're just kind of like, obviously doesn't matter. What was I saying? Oh yeah, like the shell of this guy's deck, you can basically throw any tier 3, like, having the pigeons in there makes going for the Badger very nice. And over on James' side of things, he's rocking the lizards this time. What did he drop for those? It looks like he dropped the mines from last game. And lizards are cool. They're going to do really well against everything this guy has but the moles. Lizards also give you that late game kind of base trade option. You know, tech switch, sell everything into like 40 lizards and just try to destroy your opponent that way. It's a nice, you know, card to pull out of your sleeve if you're in a losing position. If it gets to the point where this guy's just got like this crazy army put together and he's gonna come win, you're like, all right, maybe I can get lucky and knock him out first. I think most players have won a match or two that way. So let's see. James opening up with those chameleons. Ooh, a couple hidden moles. Is James gonna find them? Almost. I was curious if he noticed the commander of this guy coming from that area, because he almost like started moving up here. I don't think it'd be like the biggest deal in the world that these moles are a little bit hidden. But you know, hiding a couple tier 1 Warrens definitely masks this guy's intentions. If I'm James and I scout this base, I'm not entirely convinced one way or the other. But it seems like what this guy wants to do is that big 1 base push. And James is starting to sniff it out now. The chameleons are actually pretty good in these situations. So are the toads if he can get the connections he needs. Ooh, doesn't want to lose that chameleon. Does manage to get out with its life, but now it's pretty hurt. This guy moving forward with the momentum. These moles out and about on the map, tanking up a ton of damage, dealing some to boot. But the chameleons here are really great against squirrels in numbers like these. So the next chameleon does spawn and starts fighting back. This guy has to be pushed back to his side of the map. And is James going to continue by pushing the issue forward? No, it looks like he just wants to go home for the time being. Does that second base up? I think James lost a Warren there too, though. So keep that in mind. Yeah, he's just trying to get his campfire. Yeah, I think he lost like a Warren. I think he lost 1 chameleon. This guy's keeping this aggression up, though. All these toads. Or, I'm sorry, all these moles here. Oh, but the toad connections are actually pretty strong. Chameleons have gone down, however, and there's still a handful of squirrels left over for this guy. He pushes in. Wants to knock out this second base. Some toads are spawning, but in small numbers like this, they can be picked off before they make those connections. Ooh, this might be enough. Ooh, the chameleon here. Let's see if we got a hero chameleon. Not quite. Oh, man. This guy just dealing exactly enough damage. Even the moles over on the side, knocking out that farm. This guy's in phenomenal shape this game. Mainly because the Warrens, right? Like, all the Warrens that have gone down. We've only got one chameleon here for James. Now these 3 toads could maybe detonate on all these moles, as weird as that sounds, and kind of delete all of them. Actually, some really, really, really good toad hits there. With the chameleon going down, and oh my gosh! This guy just continues to, like, barely win these fights. However, needs to be really careful in too small a numbers, because that's where these chameleons can really, really shine. Trying to get another farm up. James is thinking about the post-game here. He's thinking about, or the post-fight, I should say. Actually, a couple farms are up here for this guy as well. I didn't even notice that, so that makes this way better than I thought for him. Yeah, because that income advantage is pretty real at the moment. A nice big army has been put together again by this guy moving forward. Both chameleons are here this time. Only one toad, though. Let's see if these chameleons can tank a lot of damage, deal some damage on the front. One of them goes down. The other one goes down as well. That's not ideal for James. I think he might have goofed a little bit there by sending them in solo bolo. And this keeps coming down to, you know, this guy just having like 2 or 3 more units than James. And this mole, oh man, that mole almost even killed that gristmill. And James is doing a phenomenal job defending here, but the real story is, again, this guy's capability to sneak out a farm or 2, and also the fact that these engagements have been at James's base. So it's like, if this guy gets a little bit of an edge in the fight, he kills a Warren, he kills a pig, you know what I mean? Meanwhile, his own base is nice and safe. Does commit really hard to taking out that gristmill, but it's definitely a worthwhile cause. 1 farm remaining here for James, so I think this guy is just gonna win from bludgeoning his opponent to death. I mean, we've got like a 7-minute match here, but it's been action-packed the entire time. Very, very close. This guy just doing great today with these huge squirrel-heavy armies. Tying it back up, 1-1. Let's see if there's any changes here. James thinking about that turret. Yeah, taking the turret is rough into the moles. On the left, we've got this guy. And on the right, his opponent, James. James, saying, alright, man, you want to play ball? We can play ball. Going for that squirrel, toad, and mole style. That's a very strong combination of tier 1 units. That can make for really powerful engagements in the early game. Some flexibility later on. James really liking these chameleons here, though. I think that's been one of the defining aspects of his decks throughout the matches thus far. The chameleons and the toads, at least. So let's see how this one plays out. I like the map a little better here for James, I think. Yeah, because just the high ground is always nice to have here. You know, 2-3 bases right there, a 4th, that's pretty reasonable. Meanwhile, this guy is looking fine as well. He's got a couple cabins right here. He's got a 2nd base. He's even got a 3rd. So, I'm curious to be honest, if this guy wants to take this as his second base or if he's going to opt for the safer option over there. It's always the argument to be had. Ooh, look at this. Proxy mole. James is gonna... Oh my gosh, he doesn't see it. Oh no. Alright, I don't think it's going to be the biggest deal in the world though, because James does have units. I wouldn't be surprised to see this guy even sell it off, but let's see if he commits to it. Oh, but James just sold Warren for tier 2. Oh my god. This is gonna work. I think this is gonna work. James selling off that Warren there was unfortunately a very big mistake. It's not like he could have known, you know. It's not like he did something wrong, if that makes sense, but just situationally, because this heavy aggression is happening, you know, he could have an extra couple squirrels here on the table, which would make a big difference. Ooh, can't let those moles get on the Warrens. That Warren is so low, this guy's gonna finish it off. But nice hold from James here. This guy's gonna pack it up and go home. So, I think that was fine. I don't think that was crazy from either side. Getting that Warren really helped out this guy's cause. He had to go home with a lot of food banked up, so he's gonna have a couple minutes where he doesn't really have a standing army. A couple minutes probably too long of a time frame, to be honest. It's gonna be less than that, but Skunk's coming in here for this guy, so he's wanting to transition back into that patented this guy style with the squirrel, skunk, mole, pigeon attack. We've seen him do time and time again. And meanwhile, James is just rocking and rolling with his cavalcade of tier 1, hoping that the moles can come up on the front, tank some damage, deal some hits, the toads can get that AoE damage, and the squirrels can hang out in the back with some padding to deal that consistent DPS. James is aware of the tier 2, right? No, he's not. That would be an important scout. I mean, if you're James, you can probably assume, or if you do see the skunks, you're not going to be super surprised. But you got to factor that into it, man. Like, maybe he's not thinking about the tier 2 at the moment. Yeah, he gets his own chameleons, but this guy's ready to rock and roll already. He's going to have to come up this high ground, so maybe if James positions himself well, he can thwart this attack. Alright, James is going to go for it. Some decent toad hits, knocking out one skunk. Man, but at the same time, the toads, you know, yeah, they killed the skunk, but really they're trying to get after the squirrels, which are still alive. However, I think James is doing fine so far. It looks like he lost a pig. Ooh, does the skunk go down? It is still alive at the moment. Man, that was so close. Like, the re-rally here from this guy is very impressive. James is gonna have to kill that skunk, eventually gets it down, but at what cost? I think he's just lost too many units. Let's see, this guy might overextend. Like, the majority of James' army is tier 1, so they will reproduce very, very quickly, get back out on the board. Yeah, it looks like this guy is slowly getting up that critical number of units to where James just can't scrounge an army back up to defend against this. More Warrens are going down. I think James thought about tapping there, but gonna stay in it for a moment. He just doesn't have the Warrens to compete, unfortunately. And I think this is a reoccurring theme we've seen on a lot of this guy games, where, you know, he's just got an extra 2, 3, 4 Squirrel Warrens on his opponent, and it really makes a big difference. Another point on the board here for this guy, 2-1. Keep in mind, this is a best of 7. So we've got plenty of more action coming your way. Let's see if old King James here can get a point on the board. Man, I don't know. Maybe I'm crazy. I'm not paying too close attention to the chat, but what do you think, gentlemen? Like, right when that engagement happened where James had the high ground, like, I feel like if those toad connections were a little bit different, he could have defended there. Because I think like 5 toads connected on 1 skunk or something. Up in the top, we've got this guy up 2-1 in this series, and his opponent down south James, the reigning champion of last season, looking to tie things up 2-2 on this map. Rocking the Bullet Hive this match. I actually really like the turrets, personally. But I feel like with the moles critting structures, it makes it a little difficult to use, especially when you know your opponent has those moles. But that's not always the case. I mean, the toads can buffer against the moles, right? And protect the turrets. So that is a possibility. This map is looking... I guess I like it a bit more for this guy. But it's kind of even, right? I mean, 2 extra mills and a couple of campfires on James' side of the map versus 3 mills up here for this guy. I think this is the reason I like this a bit better for this guy, though. Like this double high ground area up top with the 2 grist mills with the water all around it. I feel like claiming this area is going to be important, especially because it's so far out of the way of the attack path, right? Coming in. It's quick tier 2 for both players. This is standard stuff, you know. You can open that 8 farm double into like an expo, or you can open that 8 farm single into a tier 2, which is what we saw the players do, and then typically you throw down that second tier 1 Warren after the tier 2 Warren, just like James did there. And you kind of are good for a little while as your money gets spent. You can see, if you're watching James's little production tab up there, everything's being spent fairly well. Got the chameleons on the way. Yeah, James is aware of this double high ground kind of territory over to the side. Keeping an eye on it. I'm really curious if this guy is going to try to snag this as a second base. I would think so, right? Because this feels a little dangerous. With the high ground right outside of it. There's not really easy ramps. I mean, there's a ramp here, though, to be fair. It'd be cool if James could, like, grab that cabin, and then he could even set up shop up here a little bit with some turrets. Going for that double tier 2 is James. James does have his own second base. Hasn't thrown down a farm on it just yet. Yeah, there we go. Oh, interesting. That's always rough when you like take the gristmill and then you can't quite commit to putting a farm on it. Since, like, what's that gristmill really for? But he's trying to be careful. I think he's reading the signals correctly that this guy is coming. And this guy just slams through and grabs this high ground. That is rough. Ideally, James would have wanted to take this fight where he had the high ground, and this guy was still trying to make it through the water. Toe connections there don't turn out super great, and again, this guy is starting to slam through. The Squirrel Mole Skunk army is just such a strong composition here. Even keeping that skunk alive. And he's already dealt so much damage. You know, he won that fight, and then he also took out, like, what, 3 farms? Maybe a Warren? Yeah, I think, unfortunately, James, I believe, should have had his army more, like, around here. He was kind of out and about scouting when this guy attacked, and this guy was able to just very quickly get out of the muck and get onto this high ground here. And, you know, with this kind of tunnel there, you know, the toads weren't able to make the connections they needed. This guy looking for the killing blow. Let's see if James can take a better fight. Again, the toads not quite getting there. All right, this guy is up to match point now. 3-1. This is getting spooky. Haha, James. I think he just hit that random button. All right, in the bottom, really needing a win here, we've got James, aka King James. And up top, on match point, looking for one more win to become the new season champion. It is this guy. Let's see it. Anyone down for some games after this? I'll probably play a couple matches. All right, James is rocking. James is rocking the map, the composition he had when he did win that game, I believe. And this guy, his tried and true deck of choice, really showcasing how powerful that squirrel, mole, skunk core really is. Pigeons and falcons certainly helping as well. But I think the big key here for this guy's performance today is his squirrel, mole, skunk composition, and also his control has been really, really good. You know, trying to dictate which units the toads actually connect with, you know, trying to abuse the maps. He's really done a great job of that, in my opinion. You know, sneaking in falcons, knocking out some farms for free, taking engagements the right way, sweeping with his moles against mines. Very good decision making across the board, even with the builds that this guy's been presenting today. He just seems to know when to keep the pressure on, when to expand, how many farms to put down. So let's see if James maybe he's got something in the bag of builds. You know, that might be what I do here if I'm James. Maybe you go for a Hail Mary, right? You get in there with a one base timing attack and cross your fingers and hope you could take the right engagements. These toads just haven't been working out, man. I don't think it's anything with the toads. I just think, like, this guy's been anticipating them. We have seen a couple fights where the toads just got amazing connections, but, you know, too many toads blowing up on moles or overkilling skunks, that sort of thing. Can definitely happen. Hey, Blue Coon, what's up, man? What's up, everybody in the chat? Good to see y'all, as always. It's really cool to see everybody coming out of the woodwork here and showing up to support these events. And there's more on the horizon. I don't want to announce anything, but there's definitely more coming. So let's see it, man. This is tense. James has got to have a match here for us to have more casting games of Tooth and Tail. Yeah, man, keep sending replays my way, as always. I've got a few in the bank. I need a few more, and we can put together a show. ToothAndTailTV at gmail.com. Throw me those replays, and we can do more casted Tooth and Tail content like this a bit more often. All right, here it is from James. Throwing down that boar. Not quite a one base push. You know, he's going into the second base, but I think he's just saying, you know what, man, I'm going to get together the army comp that I want, that I think is going to work against what this guy is bringing out. And this guy is just only building falcons. And that's what he needs to do, but he hasn't even seen the tier 3 here. He's got that 6th sense. Maybe he knows. It's probably not hard to anticipate, right? And he does get the confirmation there. You know, I think falcons in general are going to be good against any kind of tier 3 rush. So I think this guy is thinking that, hey, James is going to try to alley-oop me with just a strong, you know, tier 3 push. Therefore, I should get together some falcons. So let's see. I'm waiting. I mean, are you still committing to this if you're James? You know, it's very clear. You know, some of the strength, like the reason you typically see this in a one base all-in fashion is because there's almost that surprise attack element of it, you know? You like get the campfire on one base, maybe throw your tier 3 in a weird spot, and then all of a sudden, bam, you're knocking on the door. But this guy knows it. I mean, there's a big billboard taken out in the middle of Times Square here for James's build. You know, this guy is very, very aware what's going on. And I think he's got a decent army to stop it. But at the same time, James doesn't have to do it, you know. He can just go up to tier 3, I mean, third base, rather. Get out a bunch more Falcons, but so many Falcons here. I like this from James, just trying to utilize that structure damage that the boar does. Run in, get a little bit of damage for free, come out. Everything like that really, really helps here. I mean, who even gets this base? What is this base over here? That is insane. Look at the minimap. It's actually this guy's. Oh, but here's the big attack. More damage up front. As a huge engagement comes in, the boar is dealing a ton of damage. How many Falcons are left? 5 Falcons for this guy, and James is going to go back. I think that was smart. I think he did well there. But I don't think he's got enough Falcons. And this guy has, like, no squirrels, however. So the Falcons that he does have nothing to support him. And James is moving forward. Is this going to work? Is this working? Is this working right now? Gonna go home, sell the tier 3 Warren, probably. Why does this guy have, like, no squirrels? I know James, like, knocked out a couple of them, but 3 squirrels? You need more than 3, most times. I'm a little surprised he kept the boar. Let's see, another big engagement coming in. James has really got to deal with these heavy tier 2 units. That Skunk Falcon combo is pretty nice, especially with those pigeons there helping to keep things alive. But James has almost got boar number 2. He's going to try to slam through with that. The boar, you know, not going to do well against the Falcons, obviously, but what it is going to do against those Falcons is tank so much damage and let James's own Falcons, his own squirrels, get in there and get something done. Economic advantage and army advantage here for James. This guy moving forward on the map. So much skunk gas is eventually going to wreck all these squirrels, but the boar is here as well, and this guy's army gets decimated. And he's going to tap. We've got a series on our hands here, ladies and gentlemen. 2-3. Man, I'd love to see this go to Game 7. Man. That was interesting. Like, the boar killing off those couple warrens, don't forget that too, right? Like, I think there was 3 squirrel warrens that the boar kind of sniped before the engagements really happened. So this guy was, like, really short on squirrels there. Alright, in the bottom left, we've got James putting up a fight here. And his opponent on top right, still on match point. This guy. So, for y'all watching on Steam without the OBS overlay, James has 2 points, this guy has 3, and this is a best of 7. So our yellow player here, James, really needs to win another match to stay in this. Meanwhile, this guy, if he wins this map, that's it. The tournament is over. What do I think about this map? I like it better for this guy. Actually, I like it a lot better for this guy. This map is a little bit of a dumpster fire here for James. Well, I wouldn't go that far. He does have a second base. He does have a third base. So he can kind of play that similar style of what he did last time. He just needs to be really careful about this high ground here. This high ground doesn't just straight up go to either player, but I feel like this guy has a bit of an edge. Ooh, what is this guy up to? 6 farm warrens. Oh, but James did as well. I'm sorry. I actually miscasted here a little bit. I wasn't paying close attention to the opening builds. Most of the time we see players go for that 8 farm opening, but this time around we did see some earlier warrens. Looks like no harm, no foul though. I think James was trying to be the aggressor, and this guy scattered it out and responded appropriately. So yeah, no big deal. So anyways, like this high ground area, super important. I feel like it's going to be a bit easier for this guy to take it if he takes his expansion right here, starts putting up some warrens and whatnot. Oh man, you know what would be sick is if there was like mines blocking warren placements, you know? I guess they could be cleared anyways, not like crazy sick. But, you know, James, I think he's okay with this little bit down here. I'm real interested whether this guy's gonna take this as the second base or this. I feel like this is the right play, but it is obviously more aggressive because you secure this base, you start securing this high ground, you make it difficult for James to really have this base on the wrong side of that high ground, and also you have an easy area to come attack in. Meanwhile, you're just kind of saving these for later, you know. And James gonna go ahead and take that expo. Is this guy not gonna expand? Is he gonna bank on that 60 to 120 food advantage from James expanding a little bit, you know? Take a gristmill, throw down a farm. But if your opponent doesn't do that, hey, that's an extra 120 food, and at this level of play, that is a big deal. Oh, I don't think James is aware of these this guy's aware of the mines. One goes off, but not too big of a deal. All right, let's see the micro here. Nice mole sweep. These toads have got to hit these juicy squirrels. All right, they hit the skunks. That's not terrible. It's not terrible, but James needs more squirrels. And these chameleons aren't going to last very long on their own. Okay, the squirrels are coming. Yeah, this is fine. Actually, this guy picking up those tier 2 units like that kind of evened it out. But keep in mind, James made those 2 mines that didn't really get a whole lot done. He made that gristmill. So this guy's got a little bit more money, a little more cash into his army. But hey, the longer this goes, the worse it's going to be for this guy. He's got to establish his second base eventually. We're almost at that 5-minute mark where 4 of your farms are no longer mining, and the other 4 are going to be on their way out pretty quickly. Nice engagement here. A couple warrens going down, though, which is going to give this guy definitely the leg up. Losing his skunks, but there's no chameleons here for James either. This is getting close. 1 skunk here for this guy. He's just got a micro. Oh, but it goes down. That's actually huge for James. I was really expecting that skunk to stay alive there. All right, pushing forward. Chameleon on the front getting some work done, but those toads did not get very value-heavy connections. I think 3 toads for like 2 moles. But hanging in there. James is like that inspirational poster at work right now, you know, with like the kitty hanging on the branch. Like, hang in there. But nice pressure from this guy. However, this is where it's going to get rough. And this guy is not going to be happy when he sees this second base with the farm on it. You know, this is where our farms start mining out. Or farming out, I should say, I guess. And this guy wants to put on more pressure, but James is like, come at me, bro. He's not afraid. He needs to get some good hits with these toads, though. Very important. All right, that's what he needed there. But is it going to be enough? This guy has so many units left over. James doesn't have a whole lot. But Defender's advantage is pretty strong in this game. He needs to keep these warrens alive. These moles take out the warrens so quickly. Nice toad hits. And James is going to stay alive. This is big. This is big. We might have a Game 7 here. I know I might sound a little James biased right now. I just want a Game 7. But this guy's running out of steam. He doesn't have a second base. He's going to just have to swing in again. And this is so hard for James, in my opinion, because if I'm James here, I want to throw down more farms so bad. But he's playing very conservatively, which is smart. He knows he needs every ounce of food possible to build more army, and delaying this attack, letting this guy take out these Warrens would be huge. Another Warren goes down. This guy has been doing great on that front, but he knows it's over. He taps out, and we've got a game number 7. Beautiful. All right. This is it. This is for all the marbles. There is a prize pool here as well. I think it's 20 euros to the winner. Yeah, 20 euros first place, 10 euros second place, and 5 euros for third place. So these nerds getting a little bit of extra bucks in their pocket for the Christmas season here. It's always fun, like, hang on. In the bottom, we've got the reigning champion trying to defend his title. It is James Bowring. And his opponent up top looking to become the new season champion. This guy. It all comes down to this match. But yeah, I love it. Like, just being able to say, you know, even if it's not a lot of money, like, just being able to say, man, I've won a tournament and earned money doing it. It's always a blast. And big shout out to all the tournament organizers, man, that put up their own money, that make these events. You know, Pocketwatch Games oftentimes will throw in as well on a couple of the prize pools. It's really cool, man. I've thrown in on a prize pool as well. It's just fun, you know. I won $20 off a League of Legends off a League of Legends tournament in college once, so I too can say I have made money playing video games. All right, what do we got here? James not spending anything yet. Is he gonna go for a 8 farm tier 2? Yes, he is, which is fine, especially on a big map like this. This map is really weird. Like, most of this map doesn't exist, right? Like all this area. Don't even worry about that. Well, I say that. There is a cheeky little attack path that you can come in through that way. But I think that would only really come up if we were dealing with lizards here. I like the high ground advantage for this guy. So, yeah, but overall, I think this map is fine. I'm really glad we didn't get a crazy biased map here for the last game. I do like it slightly more for this guy, but James has plenty of options. He really can't. That's such a smart gristmill to take here from this guy. Because I was gonna say, he really can't let this happen, but James getting cheeky, coming over to the side. Gonna rally this chameleon. He's got to just deal with this on the mini-map. He could probably get 2 pigs here, then he wants to stealth it. Very, very good there. For James, that's actually huge. But this guy knows he needs to get some counter damage done. He's coming in. This one chameleon on the front is gonna hold the fort down, and he's gotta retreat. This is looking bad for this guy. I'm not gonna lie. You know, this expansion here was kind of a bully play. You know, he's trying to expand here to prevent James from taking either of these gristmills, but it's a little bit backfired now. You know, it gave James the opening to come in, sneak in with this chameleons, because this guy was over here on this side of the map trying to get something done. And James feels confident in this engagement. Unfortunately, those toads do blast on that gristmill. Not what you want here. And this guy is stabilizing for the moment. He's hoping he can get back into this game from just defending this bastion here. Getting up a couple more farms. Keep in mind, he did lose those 2 farms and never rebuilt them, so his economy is not... you know, James actually has a better economy at the moment. Ooh, this is tense, man. This is super tense. James trying to get into some falcons. This guy's gonna scout in. He knows about the 2 tier 2 now, doesn't he? Yes, he does. Ooh, boy. I mean, if you're this guy, do you start doing a little micro in here with the skunks? Man, this is so rough for both players. I think James has an advantage, though. But not so much of an advantage where it's like, this is over already. Cannot count out high-level players like this guy in situations like this. You know, this guy could definitely still take it here. You know, a couple good connections with the toads onto the moles. A couple bad connections, I should say, of the toads. Maybe a quick snipe on a falcon or a chameleon, but here we go. James is not screwing around anymore. Give me that gristmill, nerd. Even spins toads to do it and is just going to back off. This guy's going to push in for the counter attack, though. This is the big moment. Whoever takes this fight is in a very good spot to win the game. The tier 2 falling for this guy. The chameleon's also down, but some falcons are still in the air. And this guy thinks about it, and he does it. He taps out. King James is your reigning champion of this season. 2 seasons in a row here. Season 3 champ and Season 4 champ. Congratulations to James. He's got the bragging rights until the next patented gentleman tournament, or really any tournament in general. James continues to be our king. Great showing here from this guy. Super, super close matches. Everyone in chat, I always believed in James, I swear. Oh, man. If you're tuning in on Steam, I hope you had a good time checking out what Tooth and Tail is about. Of course, I would highly recommend this game. Multiplayer is so much fun. And the Discord community is awesome. You know, it's real easy to just find matches with other players on that. Good games to everybody. Do we want an interview? Let me see if James wants an interview. Maybe we can do a little player interview here. Phenomenal matches, though, from both players. Either way. Thank you so much, everybody, for tuning in to the finals. It was a lot of fun. I think I'm going to take, if you guys want to hang out, I might take a little break here and then play some ladder. So yeah. Okay, we are going to have James. Okay, hang on. Let me get him in here. Bam. Hello. Can you hear me? Aha. What's up, James? Or should I say King James? I got you on the line here, but I cannot hear you. I know.
Hello?
Hey, there he is.
Hey, there we go.
What's up, man? Congratulations on the win.
Yeah.
What,
Got really close, huh?
Yeah, were you worried? I mean, this guy was playing his ass off in the matches coming in.
No, yeah, I wasn't like looking at the stream, like on the other games. I was like, oh shit. How am I gonna do this?
So what was the thoughts with the Toads and Chameleons? I think, was that specifically to deal with this guy's comp, or are they just units you're pretty comfortable with nowadays?
Yeah, I mean, I'm always pretty comfortable with Chameleons and Toads, but like the Chameleons and Toads were basically to like control this guy's tier 1.
Right.
Basically, but at the end of the games, it seemed a bit like we were just bashing units at each other.
Yeah, a lot of it. There's a couple games in particular that really came down to like one of you having like an extra farm over the opponent and just slamming units in, or getting the right hits with the Toads. I mean, what are you trying to prioritize? I guess it just really depends on the situation. Probably the Skunks, right?
Well, yeah. Well, the thing with this guy is that he does really good job with Skunks, but his main damage comes from like the 10 scrolls that he brings.
Yeah.
So like while you focus on the Skunks, then he lets the scrolls do damage, you know? But if you don't focus the Skunks, then the Skunks also do a lot of damage to your team. So it's a bit like, it does depend on the situation, yeah.
The boar push, I think in the 6th game, was insane. You got some good value off picking off those warrens before the fights actually started. And one thing I thought was crazy was like, this guy had a ton of falcons, which is what you want on paper, but he had like no squirrels at that moment. I think it was something like 3 squirrels on his side to like 25 or something on yours. So
right, that's what I was banking on.
Yeah.
Like after playing like 300 hours with boar, whenever somebody scouts the boar, they build like 8 falcons.
Kind of overreacting.
Yeah. So I sold a bunch of stuff and then built like 30 squirrels.
That's insane.
So I baited the falcons out of the mill, and then try and kill them with the falcons. It got close though, because I think the second push, he got like a lot of my units.
Yeah.
And I had to go back.
We were really surprised. I mean, obviously it worked out for you, but we were surprised you committed to that second boar. I think myself and the chat included were kind of like, okay, we expect James to go back, sell off the tier 3, but you were patient. You got that second boar out, and that helped you seal the deal there.
Well, yeah, boar's super good. Even if it doesn't deal any damage, it still tanks like 130 damage.
Yeah, that's what I was noticing. Especially when he mainly had an air force. It's like, sure, he's got a lot of falcons, but those falcons hitting the boars, they're not hitting the squirrels.
Right. I also wasn't too worried about him like counterattacking, because his main defense was that main mill, his initial mill. So
I think
if he went out of there,
I think the tournament winning play was that Chameleon backstab, man, in that last game, getting those 2 farms. That was insane. Like, this guy was put in such a horrible position after that, because now he's got this base that he kind of committed to put the pressure on you, right? But that back... Oh, go ahead.
Yeah. No, when did he build that base?
Pretty early on. Like, and to be honest, so what's funny is this guy was trying to grab, and I agreed with it, because, if he took that base right there, it would have made it really difficult for you to take either of those gristmills on the low ground. But since his focus was kind of on that east side of the map, it allowed your commander to like sneak in with that chameleon. You know what I mean? And this guy didn't notice it.
Well, yeah. I mean, I didn't notice him. I didn't notice him building over there, and he also brought his army like to attack while I was doing the chameleon thing. So I think if I did that like 5 seconds earlier, I would have lost a lot more than I did.
Right on. Well, excellent matches, King James, for 2 seasons in a row here. Appreciate you coming on. Any final thoughts or anything else?
No, I mean, just it's cool that people are still doing stuff with this game. And I really want to give props to Gentleman to for doing stuff like this. Since he's pretty much the only one doing well, not the only one, but
he's definitely carrying the
it.
tournament organizing torch right now. That's for sure. Definitely a big shout out to the gentleman, and he even believe he's announcing it today. We're gonna have season 5 in January. He's cooking that up at the moment, so
nice.
You'll have another chance to defend your title, sir.
Easy.
All right. Oh, hang on. Before you go, I got a question from the chat. What do you have to say to the non-believers?
Oh, they're all fucked. Like non-believers and believers, we're all fucked.
All right, man. Well, that's it. I appreciate you coming on, dude. Excellent games here. I look forward to casting some more of your kingliness in the future.
Hopefully.
All right, buddy. Take care, man.
See ya.
All right, guys. That is it for the tournament. Again, thank you so much, everybody, for coming on, hanging out with us. I might play. Yeah, I kind of feel like playing a little bit, so I'm going to stop the stream for like a split second just for video editing, and then go on a brief break, catch my breath, and then I'll probably come back and play ladder for a little while, or unranked against anybody who wants to. Yeah, I'm so down to play. When is the feast? Dude, I need a few more replays for a feast. And I have, yeah, this guy has sent 2 replays. The rest of y'all are slacking. I need more replays from other people for the feast. But give me a few minutes, guys, and then I'm just going to keep the stream going. If y'all want to hang out, play some matches, try to defeat my fox, you're welcome to. So, BRB. Just a sec.